Would you like to know how Upwork actually matches freelancers to jobs? Well, you're going to love this two-part series. I'm at our community site at community.pouncer.ai, which is where we share a lot of tips and resources for you, including free training programs. Here on the screen are some articles that we've recently been writing specifically about the Upwork algorithm for matching. So let's go ahead and take a look at this first article because this is what the first part of this series is about. So Upwork has spent a lot of time and resources embedding AI into their matching system. And that matching process is known as flow. It is basically the traffic controller to make sure that the jobs are getting the right freelancers, the freelancers are getting the right jobs. And it's using a lot of AI as part of that process. So let's go into it just a little bit more. So the very first thing that you need to know is that Upwork's flow is the heart of the matching process. They are literally trying to solve this problem where there's too many jobs or too little freelancers or vice versa. They are really trying to create up a balanced marketplace using AI to make that marketplace facilitate more transactions in there. So the flow system is really at the heart of everything that they are doing in this matching process. And so what are some of the factors that contribute to flow? Well, Upwork is not this giant marketplace where everything is kind of even, where every job is even, where every freelancer is even. What they do with this flow system is they break down their entire marketplace into micro markets. And these micro markets can be things like, level 3 Java developers that are US to US jobs or entry-level graphic designers in the Philippines. In other words, these are very small markets that they're creating up to see how many freelancers can meet the demand of the jobs that are being put in there. So this is where they are constantly rebalancing these micro markets to find equilibrium in there. That's why sometimes you'll see jobs that come up and you'll be like, why was I not recommended for it? Well, you may not fit into that micro market. The other thing that's really, really important is the fact that this micro market means that it is rewarding freelancers who have a very specific niche. That's important because a lot of times, a lot of freelancers, just to get any and all work, they'll make their profiles very broad. And so it'll be very big. I'm a full stack developer. If you need it coded, I can do it type of thing. What the flow system actually rewards is those that are much more specific. The people that are very specific about the type of WordPress sites they're doing or the type of graphic design that they're doing, the type of work they're doing. So that means that your profile really needs to be as specific as possible into a very specific category so that when those micro markets are created, it will pull you in as a freelancer for that micro market. The other thing that comes from this is pricing does matter. Now, this really was a shock to me because I appreciated the fact that maybe the pricing had a contributing role, but what they are saying is that price is a big factor in the flow system. So basically, you don't want to be too cheap in your services. So if you are a Java developer and you only charge $5 an hour, and your peers are charging 50, 60, 70 bucks an hour, you're going to not be included in those micro marketplaces. So the reality is that your stated rate needs to be aligned with what your peers are doing, or what we would call the Goldilocks zone, not too low, not too high, right where you are competitive with your peers. On top of which, the price for the job that you do also has to be competitive with your peers. And this makes sense because remember, Upwork makes money from their take rate. So the more money that a job is, the more that they can take a percentage of it. And so if a job should normally be $1,000 and you're only charging, $10, there's a problem. So they're really going to want to reward people that are charging the right amount. And again, that right amount is in the flow system, kind of that equilibrium between all of your peers with similar skills. The other thing that every pro freelancer knows is that engagement signals actually matter. They give you a lot of opportunity to engage on the platform, and in return, they will tend to recommend you more. So these are things like how many jobs are you applying to? Are you responding quickly to invites? And yes, you should be responding to every invite, whether it's right or not. How many proposals are you sending? And are those proposals getting open? That's a really big thing. So a lot of you people that are just spamming out, proposals left and right, it's actually a poor engagement signal versus those that are sending out a lot of proposals and a lot of them are getting open. And then, of course, as we always know, client satisfaction and repeat contracts. How often are you rehired? This is one reason why we always suggest that if you're new to Upwork, maybe bring a client with you into the platform because it's a huge signal of engagement. And what we know is that the flow system rewards retention and loyalty. In other words, keeping core freelancers active and earning is something that their system is designed to do. They actually want you to be successful. I know that seems crazy, but they do. Because they know that if you're doing lots of work, you're fulfilling jobs for clients, they're getting their take rate out of this. It just makes the marketplace more balanced. So they are definitely going to reward freelancers that are highly active, that are basically doing more on the platform, are earning more, applying more. Basically, the more, the better. And they will give you higher rankings, more exposure, and obviously priority in these micro markets that are being created up. So, in conclusion, the future of Upwork when it comes to their matching system is the flow system, this AI-driven tool to make the marketplace better. That means that when you're applying to jobs, pay very close attention to the best matches. It's the second tab that you normally see in there. A lot of people ignore it, which kills me, because those jobs literally are where the Upwork AI system is saying, these are the best jobs for you. Now, if those jobs aren't right, then it's okay to thumbs down them and give a reason why it's not right for you. But if it is right for you, go ahead and hit that heart icon, go ahead and apply to it. This is a huge engagement signal because over time, these signals, both the bad and the good, start to feed into the best match algorithm so that again, it will start to recommend better and better jobs to you. And here's the thing. If you see that recommendation in best match, that means when you apply to it, the client sees you as a best match. And remember, the default view for clients on jobs they post are best matches. So if it's a best match for you, it's a best match for them. That's why we put so much importance on it. So, key takeaways from part one of this algorithm series. Number one, niche down. If you are too broad, you are hurting yourself. The more specificity, I should say, in your profile, in the work that you do, the better. So if you are a WordPress person, do a lot of WordPress projects. Don't just take on some random PHP things. Stay active on the platform. All those engagement signals, responding, applying, basically doing everything you can to let them know I am an active freelancer and doing great work on the platform so that you can get that feedback and more importantly, send that signal to them. These are going to be things that are really important. Your pricing of your services actually matters. I know a lot of people will see this and be like, hey, I know that normally people pay $50 an hour, but I'll charge $5. That's a losing strategy for a whole bunch of reasons, not the least of which when it comes to the algorithm. And at the end of the day, deliver excellence. Yes, the job success score does matter. The value of that job actually matters and what type of job actually matters. So if you are, again, a developer, let's say you're a .NET developer and you're doing .NET jobs and you're delivering fantastic work on .NET jobs, that is actually a huge signal versus, oh, I'm a PHP guy that picked up a .NET job. And then, of course, use data to your advantage. There are tools like Pouncer AI, which will help simplify the proposal process for you and, of course, will help you optimize your profile. So that's what the flow system is. Go ahead and take a look at our community site. We have lots of tips, tactics that we share in our weekly newsletter, as well as free courses that we provide. So go ahead and take a time to join us at community.pouncer.ai. There's no cost. And in part two, I'm going to cover off some more details on the actual system and how it decides who to include in there. And we're going to cover that article in part two.